So UFC Fight Night Strickland versus Magomedov just wrapped up, and I've matched up every single winner on the card with who I think that they should fight next. Let me know what you think about these matchups in the comments. Let me know who you would match up the winners of the card in the comments as well. And with all of that being said, I am also going to be doing UFC 290 predictions and a UFC 290 live fight companion, so keep your eye out for that. Now, let's just get into it. Sean Strickland won. He did. He beat Abus Magomedov, which is good. I picked Sean Strickland to win. But did I think he was going to get it done in the second round? No. No, I didn't at all. And I actually genuinely believe that Sean Strickland should actually fight the champion, Israel Adesanya. Now, the reason why I've got him matched up with Israel Adesanya is if you do look at the middleweight rankings, which you can see here, Izzy's beaten Pereira, he's beaten Whitaker, he's beaten Cannonier, he's beaten Vittori, he's beaten Costa. He hasn't beaten Dricus du Plessis. But if Dricus du Plessis beats Robert Whitaker, he will get the title shot. If Robert Whitaker beats Dricus du Plessis, the UFC genuinely might look at Sean Strickland over Whitaker, because Whitaker's already fought Izzy twice. You might disagree with that, but I think that's probably the best option, really. I mean, unless you're going to get Sean Strickland to maybe fight like Paulo Costa or something like that. But I think Sean Strickland versus Izzy would be an insanely hilarious build-up. So book it. I mean, I kind of want to see it. I wouldn't mind seeing it at all. But with that being said, Abus Magomedov lost. I actually do have a matchup for Abus Magomedov because somebody else on the card fought at 185 pounds. And there's a very good reason for why I have this matchup loaded. Because if you look at Abus Magomedov, he's got 25 wins as a pro. 12 of them are by KO in the first round. 3 of them are by sub in the first round. He's got 15 wins in the first round. Someone else has 25 wins in the first round. Nursultan Ruzaboev fought on the card, 25 wins in the first round. Abus Magomedov has 15 wins on the first round. This could honestly be like the main card opener of a pay-per-view, the prelim headliner of a pay-per-view, not for name value, just because someone's going to get finished in the first round. I think that's a good idea. I think it's a good fight. Nursultan Ruzaboev, who fought earlier on in the card, takes on Abus Magomedov. If Abus Magomedov wins, then maybe he could fight like Chris Curtis or like Brendan Allen or something. But if Nursultan Ruzaboev wins, he can get someone that's borderline ranked or even a ranked opponent himself. Now we move down. Grant Dawson beat Damir Ismagulov. Very impressive win. Dominated Damir. It was obvious as day to me that Damir Ismagulov just hasn't been training since he retired, which is really sad because I did pick him. But I want to see Grant Dawson take on Jalen Turner. I know Grant Dawson called out, I think he called out like Beneil Dariush and Tony Ferguson. No to the Tony Ferguson fight, please no. But the Jalen Turner, and he called out Beneil Dariush, but Beneil's probably looking at higher ranked opponents. I think Jalen Turner is a good matchup. Jalen Turner is fighting Dan Hooker next week. I think he knocks out Dan Hooker next week and doesn't take much damage. And I think maybe they could fight on a card later in the year. Maybe in like September, October, November, December. Maybe a little bit later in the year. Jalen Turner versus Grant Dawson. I think that makes sense. I know Jalen Turner wants to be active. I know Jalen Turner wants to fight up the rankings. But I think it would make sense for him to fight Grant Dawson. I think it's a very winnable matchup for both guys. However, I do think Jalen Turner, because he's been working on his wrestling, might be able to keep the fight on the feet more than Damir did, and it could be a different fight. It'll be interesting to see. I think it's a good fight. Michael Morales, 15-0 at 23 years old. Unreal. Beat Max Griffin. I mean, I'm glad he beat Max Griffin because Max Griffin's interview before the fight really kind of like annoyed me. I just completely disregarded Michael Morales and his skill set. And Michael Morales went out there, lost the first round, and then came out in the second and third. Michael Morales definitely showed that he needs to improve on a few things. I don't like how Michael Morales throws and then resets and kind of stands like this in the middle of the octagon. I don't like that at all. Maybe if he could kind of keep it a little bit more nice and flowy, like Conor McGregor would say. But I've got Michael Morales taking on Chaos Williams. I think this is a fight that does make a little bit of sense. Rankings-wise, I think it makes sense because Chaos Williams is a guy that really is borderline ranked at welterweight. And Max Griffin is a guy that probably is also borderline ranked at welterweight. So I want to see Chaos Williams take on Michael Morales. It would just be a fun fight. I think it would be a stand-up fight. If anyone's going for takedowns, it would be Morales. So I want to see Michael Morales take on Chaos Williams. That would be a very fun fight. Ariane Lipski beat Melissa Gatto. I have Ariane Lipski taking on Antonina Shevchenko. Now, Antonina Shevchenko has been on a bad run recently, but it's because she's been taking on wrestlers and girls that have been taking her down. Ariane Lipski is not going to try and take down Antonina Shevchenko. Shevchenko is not going to try and take down Ariane Lipski. Ariane Lipski, in my opinion, looks really, really technical on the feet. In fact, she actually really impressed me with how good her stand-up was and it's definitely getting better. So I think a fight against Shevchenko, a striking match against Shevchenko would be fun. I want to see Ariane Lipski versus Anthony Shevchenko. I think that's a good scrap. Benoit Saint Denis just beat Ismail Bonfim. Hurt my feelings, man. I love Ismail Bonfim. I was the Ismail Bonfim expert because I was 2-0 on picks on him, and then Benoit Saint Denis goes and beats him. I really did like the callouts. I respected the callouts. He called out Sarukian. He called out the Polish guy, Mateusz Gamrot, and he also called out Fiziev. However, I haven't given him the Polish guy, Mateusz Gamrot. I've given him the Polish guy, Mateusz Rebicki. I like the callouts. I think the callouts really could happen. I genuinely think Arman Sarukian could see this as another opportunity to fight again, because apparently everyone's ducking Arman Sarukian, so maybe Benoit could be a guy that steps up to fight him. However, I think that Mateusz Rebicki is a little bit more realistic than those three that he did call out. Rebicki's borderline ranked. I think if Rebicki wins, he deserves a ranked opponent. I think if Benoit Saint Denis wins, he deserves a ranked opponent. So give me Mateusz Rebicki versus Benoit Saint Denis in France. I think that makes sense. I think it's a good matchup. Nursultan Ruzaboev earlier on, I matched him with the boost Magomedov. Let me know what you think of that on the card. There's definitely other options, but I do like Ruzaboev versus Magomedov. I think that'll be a fun fight. Now we move on. Rinat Fakhretdinov defeated Kevin Lee in under a minute. A really bad look for Kevin Lee in his return. It's a big shame that he got caught by a big shot and then guillotined, but it was really good for Rinat Fakhretdinov. And I'm going to be going with Rinat Fakhretdinov versus a guy that is in the rankings, but not just any guy that's in the rankings. This guy is a little bit too disrespected, and he's not respected for this. Neil Magny is willing to fight absolutely anybody. Magny is not scared of fighting anybody. I believe that Magny would put his ranking on the line to take on Rinat Fakhretdinov. Let's get Rinat Fakhretdinov, a guy that's in the rankings, and I think Neil Magny at number 11. Magny is not respected enough for this. Magny genuinely fights absolutely anybody, anywhere. So give me Neil Magny versus Rinat Fakhretdinov, or Rinat Fakhretdinov quick turnaround against Jack Della Maddalena at UFC 290. I'm for that as well. I like that matchup as well. And Joanderson Brito beat Weston Wilson. Fun scrap. I mean, he really wants to fight Dan Ige, but Dan Ige just fought two guys that weren't ranked. He just defended his ranking against Damon Jackson, and he defended it against Nate Landwehr. I think Dan Ige has earned the right to fight another ranked opponent and not another guy coming up. I don't know why Joanderson Brito hates Dan Ige so much, but anyway, I actually don't have that matchup. I've got Joanderson Brito versus David Onama. It would be a banger. It's nothing personal. It's not because I thought David Onama really annoyed me with his super cringe celebration or anything like that. It's not personal. It's just that David Onama versus Brito would be a fun fight. And you could do it in Brazil. I don't know if Onama would want to go to Brazil to fight Brito, but it would be a fun fight. Carol Rosa beat Yana Santos. Women's 145 pounds is not looking good. You know, Zero Fan has been forced to fight at 135 pounds. They just cut Bea Maliki because she refused to fight at 135 pounds. All the signs lead to women's 145 going. So we've got to give Carol Rosa a women's bantamweight matchup. And I've actually given her a women's featherweight, but make this fight at bantamweight. Josiane Nunes is 5'2". She should be able to make 135 pounds. So Josiane Nunes versus Carol Rosa is the matchup. That's all I'm going to say on that. It's not really anything too exciting. Elvis Brenner versus Graham Kutatalizi was exciting. It got fight of the night. Deservedly so. And one thing I'm going to say. Shooter box guys, when they have Charles Oliveira in the corner, it's a wrap. When Elvis Brenner walked out, I said jokingly, I didn't say this seriously, but I said, oh my god, he's going to beat Guram. He's got Charles Oliveira in his corner. When these shooter box guys have Charles Oliveira in their corner, they always win. It's the Charles Oliveira effect. When they don't have Charles Oliveira in their corner, they lose. Like Daniel Santos. What is his name? Daniel Santos? I don't think it is. It's Gabriel Santos lost because he didn't have Charles Oliveira in his corner. Elvis Brenner won because he had Charles Oliveira in his corner. If you've got Charlie Olives in your corner, you're going to win. And Alan Nascimento also won with Charles Oliveira in his corner. But anyway, absolute banger scrap. When Elvis Brenner got the takedown on Guram Kutatalizi, I was so surprised. I was like, oh my god. This fight could be different, right? And one thing I'm going to say about Elvis Brenner is, dude, this guy looks really technical, because if you do look into the fight and you watch the fight, Elvis Brenner was so much smaller than Guram. Like, he was really small, and he was able to outmuscle Guram in the clinch. He was able to out-wrestle Guram, which is amazing. He showed really just good technique in the wrestling, in the clinch, in the striking. Brenner looked way better than he did against Takugov. He looked way better than he did against Takugov. He lost a lot of people money. I'm really sorry. I told everybody to put Garam in your parlay. Oh, I'm so sorry about that one, guys. But I'm happy for Brenner. I'm happy for Shooter Box. I'm telling you guys, if Charles Oliveira is in the corner of a Shooter Box fighter, it's all over. But the matchup that I've got him, it's weird because Alves Brenner... I wouldn't say Alves Brenner is like a top 25 fighter. However, Garam Kutatelidze probably is ranked in the top 25, right? Because he fought Demetrius Magyalov, and he also fought a split decision with Mateus Gamrot. So, I'm not going to give Alves Brenner a ranked opponent. I'm going to give Alves Brenner Drakkar Klose, because Drakkar Klose is a guy that he gets the number 15 rank, and then he loses it, and he pops in and out. Drakkar Klose genuinely is a borderline ranked fighter. I think it's a fight that does make sense as well. You know, Drakkar Klose beat Brandon Jenkins in his big return. Then he beat Rafa Garcia. He hasn't fought since. I think that Drakkar Klose versus Alves Brenner would be a fun fight. I'm not too sure who would win that fight because Alves Brenner all of a sudden looked like an absolute beast. Brenner probably has to take a lot of time off, but he probably does want to fight. Maybe on the September card in Brazil, but once again, like, can Brenner do that fight? Can he do that card because he got that massive cut? Who knows? Luana Carolina beat Ivana Petrovic. I picked Petrovic. Petrovic looked so bad. I'm sorry. It wasn't the fact that Luana Carolina looked really good, because honestly, she actually didn't. It's that Petrovic looked horrible, man. Like, she was... One thing that surprised me was that she wasn't wrestling at all. And Michael Bisping said when she was walking out that she was watching Luana Carolina tape and thinking that she found openings and she could outstrike Carolina. And as soon as Bisping said that, I knew that she had lost, because I knew that she wasn't the better striker. I thought she was the better grappler. And she got out-wrestled and out-grappled by Luana Carolina. Horrible performance from Petrovic. Really bad look for Petrovic, honestly. Carolina, Mandy Bomb. Nothing personal. Nothing personal. Just, I think it would be a good matchup. Nothing personal. Let me move on. Alexander Romanov beat Blagoy Ivanov. I mean, Romanov is ranked. However, you look at the UFC rankings, he's actually fought a lot of guys that are ranked. Like, he's already fought Tabura. You know, Derek Lewis probably wouldn't want to fight him. Rosenstrike probably wouldn't want to fight him. However, that is a matchup that makes sense. I've just got him fighting Rodrigo Nascimento. I mean, Rodrigo Nascimento probably is a guy that deserves a ranked opponent. You could do this fight in Brazil as well. You know, Nascimento just got by Tanner Bozer and Ali Latifi. Heavyweight is so shallow. He does deserve a ranked opponent, and I think it probably should be Alexander Romanov. So, Rodrigo Nascimento versus Alexander Romanov. If Alexander Romanov wins that fight, then he can move up in the rankings. If he loses, then it's back to the bottom for Romanov. But I think that's a fight that makes sense. Let me know what you think in the comments. UFC 290 picks are already out on the channel. Early picks. I'll be doing another one later tonight. I'll be doing a UFC 290 fight companion. I've also got an insane video idea as well. It's gonna be like a big story. It's gonna be like super edited and stuff. It's gonna be good. I've been watching a lot of like weird content on YouTube, and I'm gonna make something good. I'm gonna make a good video this week. It's gonna take a lot of editing. I'll probably like it's gonna be good. I've got a good video coming out. It's gonna be like a story video, like the story of a fighter that you've definitely never heard of, but a story of a fighter that represents a country that you wouldn't expect to have an MMA fighter representing it. So, yeah, you'll hear about it later. With that being said, I will see you guys in the next one.